Who is here? Who is here? Hello? Hello? Is this thing working? Hello? 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 Oh, spare change. Messed with the Look at all you guys. Okay. Guys, I have news. I have news. Are you guys ready? It is rapidly becoming bedtime. Okay. How many of you guys heard the news this week in Discord? That Hate Zero and Nightcrawler are no longer a part of NPC. Did you guys hear that this week? How many of you guys, can we pour one out? Can we pour one out for the NPC? You guys can still be the NPC fam, but pour one out for the homies. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a rough week. You should my Jen came running. She's like texting me. What happened? What happened? What did you know? Did you know that Hate was leaving? Did you know that Crawler was moving moving along? I told her it came out of nowhere. I was shocked and I was sad and well, let's see. What? Wait. Let's see here. How do I I think hang on. I can hear something. Hate Zero, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Wait. You guys, did you hear that? Crawler, can you hear me?
Yo.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hey, tell him what's happening.
Yo, what is up? You guys are you're no longer just the NPC fam. And everything we said is not a lie. Crawler and I will not be regulars on NPC. But you are now the Pause Gang. Josh, tell them what the Pause Gang is.
All right. This is a brand new show. Guys, it's called Press Pause. And we're going to literally talk about everything. And I want you guys to know that it may not be family friendly. So I'm going to start this recording. All right. So this is for the adults. We just want you guys
made by adults for adults.
Made by adults for adults. Here we go. I'm hitting record. What is happening? You are listening to episode 1 of Press Pause, the podcast where we pause the games and we talk about everything. Everything. Hate Zero. What's going on? You formerly the host of co-host of NPC. What's going on?
Yeah, I had to, cut ties with the NPC because I feel like we're doing something really great right here with Press Pause. We're going to talk all the things, and we may even venture outside of video games sometimes to talk, whatever cool media thing we've got going on. It's just 3 friends hanging out, and when I say 3, I mean 3,000, because all of the Pause Gang's coming with us. You're all on this journey. Let's go.
There we go. My question is our hero is like do we still get
What is up, Pause Gang? It's your boy, Hate Zero, your hero.
There we go.
Crawler.
Is that better?
What's better? That's better. What's going on, dude?
Hey, how's it going? And it's Crawler coming at you. We're still going. Yeah, we're still here. I mean, we've been talking about this. What? It's been probably 2-3 months now. We've been talking about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Bits and pieces. You guys have probably noticed that. I mean, when Nintendo has droughts, we definitely venture off, and so this has just given us a clear path to talk about all that we play, you guys play, what we watch, all that kind of stuff. We're all now current members of the current new gen of consoles, and that varies between us, but it's exciting with new stuff to talk about, and Star Wars and WandaVision and all that's on Disney Plus and all that kind of stuff. It's all fair game here, so we're gonna have a good time.
Absolutely.
Great time.
But there will be an explicit tag on this show. So if you are offended at all, but it's not like we're just going to go, like, we're not just going to turn into like sailors and just go crazy, replace the F word with or whatever, right? But we're adults. So, chat, if you guys, somebody's like, can we type swears in chat? Yeah, you can. You get that auto model kick in, but
you can try. You can certainly try.
You can try, but
I think I can type that in chat.
Yeah,
I think I'm allowed to.
I think so. So, brand new show. Like I said, it's just going to be conversation. Like, that's it. Basically, this show is like, you guys get to be a fly on the wall for. We're not going to like necessarily structure anything. I've played some crazy games the last few days. We've had some crazy gaming news, and we're just going to talk about
like 2 directs to talk about, almost kind of.
Basically. Yeah. So, I mean, can I start?
Yeah, go please.
Because
and the reason you should start, tell them what you did over the weekend. Tell them what you got.
Yeah. What'd you get?
Okay, I'm now the proud owner of an Xbox Series X, and I did buy the red Switch, which I've been playing the Xbox so much I haven't even transferred my games over. So I love chat's trying to swear right now, and it's all coming out stars. No, so Xbox Series X, I've been playing Call of Duty, I've been playing Gears of War, I've been playing... I tried out Halos, of course. Fortnite looks just like gorgeous.
And now you have the black skin Master Chief.
That's true. I have. I've been playing the Battlefront 2 Squadrons. Here's what Eric told me. He's like, dude, you're not gonna want to play the Switch after you start.
It's hard to go back. It's hard with all those frames and the. Extra fidelity, it's hard to go back, and there's still a lot of joy and greatness to have on the Switch, but man, it's a different experience for sure. But I mean, carry on. Let's hear what else. Like, what are you liking about the system? What are you most impressed with? What are what's got you hooked right now?
What's got me hooked? The loading times are gone. I'm going to go into it in a little bit, but I played Outriders right before the show. I've been trying all day to get in. I finally got in about an hour before we started recording. And I watched it go to 80 immediately when it was loading, and then to 100, and then I was in the game. It was like maybe 2 seconds of loading, right? Like maybe 2 seconds. So I'm hooked there. Bouncing between games, amazing. Here's like a couple frustrations, not Xbox's fault at all, but there's not an HDMI switcher in existence that can do 120 hertz, right? And or 120. This is where I get confused. It's 144 hertz, but it's 120 frames? Is that like...
So a hertz is it's a refresh rate. And so if you have a monitor that goes above 120 hertz, then you're going to get the refresh rate true to what it is. So I have 144 hertz gaming monitors on my PC, so I can game, like, I can have more than the game, like Fortnite can run at like 250 something frames
right
on my system, which is what the system allows, but I'm only seeing maximum 144. So there's locked frame rates that you can there's all those different settings that you can mess around with, but whatever your monitor or TV is maxed out at hertz wise, that's the maximum number of frames you're going to see.
Got it. So there's not a splitter in existence that can do anything above 60 right now, and all of the capture cards are not like they're like $450. They're almost as much as a console to be able to pass through. Now, I just was like, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about it at this point. If I really want to see Fortnite at 120, I can just run direct into my monitor. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But even streaming everything at 60, it's such a step up from the Switch, right? Like, I was playing
just even the screenshot you posted in Discord just to us, like it looks that much sharper.
Yeah. It's night and day. And I have a day one, it's sitting next to me, day one Xbox One. I was trying to play Battlefront 2 because I was like, okay, I'm going to start making some content with Star Wars. The gun, every time I would start back into the match, there'd be no gun on the screen. There was nothing. It was like I was playing like Myst or whatever. There was no weapon. I'm like, what am I shooting at? Or what am I shooting with? This is insane. And so I was trying to play Warzone even, and everything just looked like mud. Now it is.
Warzone's got its own new problem that just cropped up today.
What's that?
It might not fit on a base PS4 now.
Oh, that's right. It's like over 500 gigs.
Man, let's talk about that. Let's take a second here.
Okay.
I am so tired of that game. It requires like 100+ gig update every yeah. What is going on there? Like, and
there's got to be a compression algorithm that they can find at some point.
The game ends up compressing down, so on your console afterwards, you're left with like 40 gig file or whatever, but I have to delete stuff to make room for this download and then re-download stuff just to deal with Warzone's ridiculous. Call of Duty.
I'm going to tell you what the raw PC size is. Hold on.
Oh boy, here we go. Here's one thing.
Keep talking while I'm looking.
Here's one thing with the. There's no new OS on the Series X.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I've gone from the original Xbox to the 360 to the One, and you expect a new OS. You expect it to be like kind of a new, fresh experience, and it was the same. It is the same. It's not that big a deal. I mean, how much time do you spend in the OS? It's not that much, but it still just seemed a little. As you get older,
you spend more time in the OS, though.
It still just seemed kind of weird,
Yeah, and that was kind of one of the things that really pushed me to the PS5 when I was looking at it. Not only is that true, but the lack of a new generation of controllers for the Series X. I know they put a new button on there. Don't even try to push that off as being a new controller. So the fact that they didn't make any revisions to it, because I enjoy the hardware life cycle where I get a new generation, and with that new generation comes a new controller, and I will get a Series X eventually, but that was one of the things that swayed me to the PS5.
Did it frustrate you with the PlayStation as the controller didn't change until 4?
I mean, it changed from a little bit from 2 to 3 because it got the 6-axis or whatever.
And then was dropped by devs pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, that is true. So
3 was definitely more comfortable. 4 was definitely more comfortable.
Yeah, DualShock 4 was the first major.
It got wider.
In a long time.
Yeah, it got wider, and that was a lot better because 3, my hands would cramp a little bit playing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this about the new Xbox controller. I haven't even used it, but I will say this: it feels awesome.
You have an Elite, don't you?
Yeah. But the grip on the triggers feels really, really good. Like, And this controller does feel amazing in the hand. Like because it's a matte finish now, it just feels better. The regular Xbox One controller was a little bit glossy, right? And it just kind of felt like this feels less cheap, honestly. It does feel
and
good.
that was a problem Xbox had with the One. The controller just it felt okay for a little bit, but I broke the one that has the day one embossing on it or whatever. Like pieces of plastic broke near the trigger off. I had to Gorilla Glue it together, and then it eventually broke again.
Oh no!
But then like the internals.
I think you are manhandling your controller too much.
Maybe it was a little
going on there.
Did you drop it or did you chuck it?
He just like
dropped it a few times too, but like
franking on it.
But still, like it was a lot of intense Titanfall games at the very beginning of that console. So
Crawler's rage coming at you.
But I mean, and you saw the cheapness with the internals of the Elite as well, because I ran through 2 Series 1 Elites before they made a better quality version in the Series 2 Elite. I'm
still using my day one Elite Series 1 Elite.
So am I.
That I got with Halo, but the grip is all flopping off of that thing. Like it's everywhere. It's a mess. I have my eye on the Series 2, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, it's 100. It keeps going up on Amazon because it like sells out, and then you got third party sellers or whatever. And I'm like, I don't think it's gonna change unless it just feels a little tighter, a little better. I don't know. It might. It looks like it does have the cool grip that this controller has, but
it also has the I think the biggest thing to consider when getting that Series 2 is the tensioner for the joystick, because my biggest complaint about the Xbox One in general was the joystick's too soft, right? Or too
okay.
I don't know what it's light, right? There's not enough tension on it, so you can adjust the tension on those now to make it feel more like the original Xbox or the 360, which would be awesome.
That's interesting you say that. Control Freak has just come out with these little foam rings that you put over your controller, so you have to press. They basically stiffen up your controller for you. So, and there's different thicknesses and yeah, I thought they were interesting. I'm just like, they're literally selling like these little pieces of foam, like little foam Cheerios that you're putting on your controller. It's crazy. But yeah, so, but here's the thing. I do want to say this because I play my Switch with the M Classic. And so if I just switch from the Xbox to the Switch with the M Classic on, and I'm playing a first-party Nintendo game, at least like Smash, Mario Kart, something like that, it looks gorgeous on my 4K monitor. Like it's you know that Nintendo games are designed for the Switch, for this console, and they. But if I were to put
like the water in Origami, what's
Origami King?
Origami King, yeah, the water looks amazing. But I remember the first time I plugged in my M Classic, I think I messaged you or you were streaming, and I was like, holy crap, it looks so sharp. And now it does. Now like I can't notice it as much because you don't have that like stark contrast of right away. It's just something you get used to. But it's something, if I were to take it away, I'm sure it would look like mud, and I would notice it.
You do. It looks
Switch doesn't
blurry.
Look that bad. Let's
play Fortnite on it and then tell me that.
Well, right. So okay. I guess that's the difference. So the Nintendo games look really good because they choose an artistic approach to it. It's not, I'm sure Apex on March 8th is going to look like total ass, right? Like it's going to be horrible. And that's where back in 2018, when I was on a little show called the NPC, I think I was really pushing for every game to come to Switch, right? Isn't that what I used to always say? Like, bring it over, who cares?
Yep.
And I think that was true then. I don't know if that can be true anymore. There's just too big of a gap between next gen and current, or current gen and the Switch.
I think there needs to be a bigger push from developers right now with the gap widening until I've seen articles this week that said the Switch Pro is a real thing, and we'll see here in probably a little bit. But until that happens, and there can be some parity, but I think we're still going to fall into the problem. Nintendo's not going to make the same mistake twice like they did with the 3DS, and they're not going to do games that only run on the new Switch. It's going to be kind of what Xbox said. Everything needs to be able to come forward. We'll see if that plays true for Xbox as well. But I think third-party devs need to take a Nintendo approach to the Switch and start developing games that are experiences for the Switch, and not try to hire these port houses, which do a decent job. I mean, Witcher amazingly got on a Switch cart. There's some other games. Fortnite has found a way to make it work. I think the dynamic textures on Rocket League make the game one of the more playable cross-party games on the Switch. But when you go look at the Series X and the PS5, like we all have now, it's hard to go back and see one of those games that you can play in a much better experience.
Yeah,
I don't even think I want to waste the time downloading Apex on my Switch.
Oh, you have to look.
I have to probably delete or archive. I got to delete or archive some stuff. Who knows how large that file size is going to be too?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. So Josh, the Series X is still a little bit hard to find. Tell us the story of how Jen was able to pull this off.
So,
I assume there's a story there.
You want the
Jen's
real
always a
story,
hero
or do you want the? This is. Oh, great!
I haven't heard the story at all. So I'm curious.
I think a little man named Wario64 is involved, right?
Okay, so I didn't think I was going to have to tell this story. Okay.
I'm glad I brought it up already now, because I have no idea what the story is.
So, her and I woke up Friday morning and went looking for the red Switch. Okay? This was on the 12th, I believe. I think that's what it was.
Day it came out, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we find one at Fred Meyer, your favorite store, right? They had
Hidden gem.
They had two of them. So, picked up the red Switch, get home, had a great haul that day. You know, it was like, she's like, hey,
Amiibo and Switch,
like
and
doubled up on Amiibo, got opened up a Bowser Amiibo, Bowser Jr., you know, like, actually, like, I think I found some Hot Wheels that I was missing, you know, like, it was a good day. And then I see the tweet. The tweet comes through from Wario, because I was waiting for the pins to find out about the pins or whatever, so I still had his tweets on, that the Series X is there. And I'm like, okay, well, my Twitch money is coming in today. I know it is. So, right, and it almost covered the whole thing. So, I'm on my phone. I'm like, let's see if this will work. Let's see if it'll go through. And it did. It went through. Like, I was able to. It took me a while. I had it in the cart, you know, and like, my wife doesn't know. Okay, like, she doesn't know.
So what do you mean she doesn't know?
She doesn't know. I'm just like,
you gotta act in the moment.
Yeah,
gotta act in the moment. That's how it was. I have a similar somewhat story for my PlayStation. I was at work and it happened to open up at Best Buy, and I bought it. And I waited a day or two, and I told my wife, I was like, so I got a PS5, and she's like, what?
So
too late. I already opened it. Can't return it.
I tell my son, I'm like, okay, there's gonna be an Xbox shipped here on Tuesday, so I need you to, you know, make sure it doesn't sit outside or whatever. You know, it actually shipped. It was here on President's Day. I was out of town, right?
Yeah.
So, if you guys are married, you've all been in this situation before. So we get in the car because we're going. I don't know. We had to go get some. I think we were going to pick up the Amiibo at that point because we hadn't that Best Buy wasn't opened for the early morning trip, and I had them pre-ordered there. And so we get in the car, and I'm like, so I might be in trouble. And she's just like, what did you do? Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you may or may not have got me an Xbox for my birthday also. And she was like, okay. I mean, that makes sense. The old one's pretty old, and yeah, okay, we're good. I was like, okay, we're safe here. So, but
when you bought it, where did you get it through?
Amazon.
Yeah. Does Amazon have the financing option or whatever for the? Because I almost pulled the trigger. I tried to pull the trigger. I think I was a little late today. But Walmart had the financing deal or whatever, where you pay for Ultimate and the Series X or the S for like 2 years or whatever, and then it's yours at the end of it.
Yeah.
You got to go through a credit check and all that kind of stuff. And it seemed like, I guess, Walmart, that's the only way Walmart was doing it today.
Mm.
But I mean,
Best Buy has that too. I don't know if Amazon's doing that.
I need to go through. I need to look at Xbox's website or whatever, and maybe go through the pre-approval process just so you're in the program or whatever, and the next one that's available, you can log in and do that. Because for me, that'll end up being $250 for a $500 console, because I'm already paying $15 a month for Ultimate,
right?
And that comes with Ultimate, so it's like that's kind of it's instead of $15, it's $25 a month. That just seems like it's a no-brainer. And a good way to get both, for me to get both systems, is to do that and have it be a cheaper option.
It's kind of the cell phone model, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think people are used to it, and they're not charging any interest on it. I mean, if that's an option for you, or if you don't want to shell out $500, like, it's a pretty awesome way to get a new console.
The reason obviously the Xbox was a little easier to get than the PlayStation, but it's Game Pass. Like, I don't have
ecosystem
to,
you're already in.
Yeah, I don't have to. When I finally get a PlayStation 5, I probably won't. It'll be for PlayStation exclusives. I can't.
That's what my PS4 has been.
Yeah, and so it just, for me, I was like, with the Star Wars games that I already own, I was really excited to see Squadrons in, with the like.
Have you booted up Fallen Order? Because I think that got a next gen like smart delivery upgrade.
It did.
So it doesn't have the little XS on the game tile or whatever. But it did run smooth. I just played it for just a minute.
Well, and just this week, I think Xbox pushed out some like 120 frame updates for, I don't know if it was classic, like OG Xbox games or some 360 games, but there's a list, I think probably on Major Nelson's blog or something like that, but they pushed out some like serious frame upgrades for some of those games.
What I'm curious, like, we were trying to figure this out. I was playing Fortnite with Nate late one night, and he has a Series S, and so we were gonna do Call of Duty, but he had to download it, right? Because he's only got 500 gigs on the Series S. Well, I just unplugged my 2 terabyte hard drive and plugged it right into my Series X, and it immediately recognized everything. Now,
because it's already formatted.
We were under the impression, as we were chatting about it, that you had to be playing off of the SSD in order to get everything.
Get the super fast load times. Yes.
So that's the only difference is the load times. It's not, it doesn't affect.
I think so if a game is actually Series X enhanced, to get those enhancements, I think you have to be playing on internal. But if you're just wanting to play a backwards compatibility game, you can run it off external, right? I believe I know that's how it is for PS5.
That's how it is for PlayStation. So PlayStation will only play PS5 games off the internal until they push out this software patch that's going to unlock the M.2 drive behind the blade. But I have a serious problem with my PlayStation storage right now. I don't know how you're looking, Eric, but I have a 1 or 2 terabyte external for my PS4 that I either need to take upstairs, or I'm thinking about just buying like a 4 terabyte one for upstairs, because they're eventually going to have cold storage for PS5 games that you don't have to re-download everything, but you'll be able to move it back and forth between the solid state inside and the mechanical outside. But the PlayStation is only 825 or something like that.
Yeah, 8 whatever.
And after OS and Astro's Playroom and some other stuff on there, you're only working with like 750.
I mean, you could delete Astro's Playroom, but you shouldn't.
It's only like 10 gigs. I platinumed it. It's amazing.
I did too.
So Henny in chat says, I have an S. I use external and move back and forth depending on if I want XS games or not.
And I think the transfer is pretty quick if you do.
So let me
that's what I've
bring
heard.
up a new point here. Here's what I'm doing for the PlayStation 5, because something that we didn't realize we were getting with this gen is blazing fast download speeds. Those new SSDs. So I do have a very privileged internet. I've got gig internet, and I just paid the extra money to get rid of my data cap because the stupid Call of Duty keep pushing me over. So what I do now, like legitimately, I'll delete a game and re-download it if I want to play it again. Like that's how I've been making space. And honestly, like I can download the games, download and install so fast now. Like 50, 60, 70 gigs takes less than 20 minutes. Like it's so fast that I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah, because the write speed onto those SSDs it can keep up with the fast internet, which is nice.
So now I'm curious.
The games can start at like 15 gigs, and they can install in the background.
So I was playing,
not even really an issue.
If I was playing Squadrons off of my external, I was basically just playing it at Xbox One quality.
Xbox Series, or no,
probably
Xbox One
X. Yeah.
Quality.
Yeah, so I mean, you're still playing it as top tier Xbox One.
You can still
quality.
play it 4K. It's just not going to load as fast.
Right.
Okay.
And you might not get ray tracing if they added. I don't think they did for that game, but for games where they do, like Watch Dogs or something, if you played that off of your external, you're not going to get. You're still going to play at 4K. And it's going to be like you're playing on a 1X. Whereas if you put it on the internal and it has the optimized for Series X, you'll get, the ray tracing, the 3D audio, all the other stuff that you're not going to get.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be interesting because it is, I mean, like you guys said, Call of Duty, like that takes up half the space right there.
It's insane.
I think I'm done updating it on my Series or my Xbox One S. God, the names are so bad.
Can we talk about their naming convention? My goodness.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. So yeah, Henny says you got to play it off internal. I'd move it and see the difference. So okay, well I'll make sure I do that because
have the 2 terabyte and move it back and forth because I think data management is easy enough.
Yeah, and what I was confused by is that all the games on my internal say XS on them, and then so I was like, well, maybe on the external it'd be different, but it wasn't. Squadron still had it. But it wasn't on my internal, so I was kind of scratching my head, going, "Wait, what's the difference here?" So, okay, and I think somebody said they do move back and forth pretty quick. So,
and I think it's a messaging problem that both Xbox and PlayStation have because they haven't had news outlets out to have like the hands-on demonstrations at E3 from the past year, and or their own personal like. Microsoft brought people out to the campus for the One, and PlayStation had that thing. I think it was in New York or whatever they did for the PlayStation 4. Like they have those press conferences that are devoted solely to their system rollouts, and that gives the press hands-on time so that the news media outlets can have better explanations for everybody. And all we've been going off of is these pre-recorded video direct kind of information stuff and then blog posts, and it's not as cut and dry for everybody, and nobody else like it's maybe buried in some of the other news sites, other places, but like once the consoles are out in the wild, that's when you see it versus the pre-launch kind of information, like news fest that you'd get.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. We've been playing Switch, right? Even the last gen consoles, which I feel like when they were brand new and the games were more optimized for them, like they still looked really good, right? It's not like we're seeing a massive jump in graphics right now, unless, I mean, that's basically what PlayStation sold us today on their State of Play. Like, we have graphics.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I think I see where you're going. I want to say like the Final Fantasy VII updates look like it is going to be almost ray tracing kind of style quality with some of the lighting and shadow effects and texture effects, and like background blur isn't going to be as much of a thing with the PS5 version. You're going to see more detail. Like the one picture where I saw more detail in the background was like there was a train locomotive in the background and you could see a lot more stuff on it. The lighting when he was looking up at the sky through the slit of like two buildings or whatever, it looked really good, and it can be impressive, but it's not noticeable when you don't have that side-by-side comparison.
Here's what I'm getting at.
If you look at games like The Last of Us 2 or Ghost of Tsushima, you could play those on base PS4s and they look amazing.
Right.
Like completely amazing.
So okay, I jumped into Gears. It's Gears is the one that stood out to me the most. The game
Gears 5?
Yeah, Gears 5. Crystal clear, right? But I was getting the vibes. Do you guys remember when we went from standard definition to HD and they started like up converting some movies, and all of a sudden it was like, man, when this was less easy to see, everything looked like the CGI looked like it was more part of the movie versus like, wow, that's very apparent.
Like watching episode 1 now versus back in 99
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Matrix Revolutions is hard to watch.
The car scenes where you're like, those cars are clearly not on that freeway, right?
Where the CGI dude jumping from
yes. And
one car to the next.
And so this is, and Henny's asking, was it on your Eternal? I'm actually going to check and see, because I don't even know. So I'm gonna find out. But it was so friggin' clear that it looked like the characters were like not a part of the background. You know, I was like,
it's almost like the soap opera effect, right?
Almost, yeah. Where like stuff's moving at the higher frame rates, right? And so I was like, I mean,
so Josh is on our brand new show lobbying for less frames. He wants lower fidelity, less frames. That's the message we're getting here.
I just want to know if you guys, but let me like think back a little bit. I'm looking at like Fortnite, for instance, though. Yeah. Like that all, like it felt like it brought more of the world alive with more textures and the lighting and everything.
Clouds in the sky as you're flying in the bus. That's the biggest thing I noticed on the PS5 is like I don't see that at all. Even on my PC, I don't remember seeing clouds a lot. But after playing on my PS5, I went back and checked, and Fortnite wasn't on my SSD on my PC. So I uninstalled it and reinstalled it on my SSD, and it actually runs a lot better now. But I cleaned up what's on my SSD and what's not on my computer, and that was better. But
gotcha.
But yeah, the God of War got a like Uber enhancement upgrade for PS5 like 2.5-3 weeks ago, and Eric and I have both been playing that a little bit, and it looks super sharp. And that's a 3 or 4 year old game, and
2018,
yeah, and it looks good.
Yeah, so I see your point, Josh. And there's some games, like I've never been one to really push for like, oh, I need 60 frames for this to even be playable. Like there's cinematic games where 30 frames is just fine for me. Something like Fortnite, I think you want all the frames possible, right? Because it's such a twitch shooter. But yeah, I mean, there's some cinematic games out there where if you put them side by side, you might be able to say, yeah, I mean, the 60 does play better, right? It looks better. But when you're in the game and you're playing it and you're experiencing it, like it never really bothers me as long as it's stable at 30. If it's, you know, constantly dropping, that's a different story.
Does Xbox have a performance or graphical choice setting? Like PlayStation has that. You can have it as like a default for, it can go into the settings on games and either optimize frame rate or optimize graphic fidelity.
It doesn't need it because it has enough power. Come on, I was. He just shook his head. Yes, I'm like literally throwing the softball to be like, oh, okay.
I know.
I was trying to push a button.
You pushed the button. I mean, I'm an Xbox fanboy more so than PlayStation.
No, I don't. I honestly. Here's what I know. Like when I was trying to get Fortnite to play at the highest res and the fastest FPS, it was 1440, 120. Still, you know, HDR was still on. Like, and it looked crazy. Like it looked crazy. But I don't know if Fortnite's on my internal, so I've got to try. I got to put it on that and make sure. I feel like it's Christmas again. I'm gonna spend all night moving games back and forth and seeing what they look like. Like
you gotta play it one way and then play it the other. You know, do the compare.
Yeah, and I'll make some videos on it because I mean that's you know, even today. Okay, where do you guys want to go? We've already been going 40 minutes. We haven't even talked about Direct.
I was say we need to talk about the Direct. Well, we've talked a little bit about the State of Play. State of Play was a little weak, I felt like, but
I mean, yeah, it.
I was expecting
cool things, but
I was kind of expecting Horizon Zero Dawn.
I'm guessing
Lost Light or whatever it is.
That's going to be their holiday
Forbidden
title.
West.
I'm pretty certain of that. And
they pushed Gran Turismo early this week. Yeah. I don't even know if Ragnarok's going to come out this year. I mean, it depends on how big that game is. It just depends on how big it is. If it's going to be like a Miles Morales size, using some of the same assets that were in God of War, maybe. But like, yeah, I don't know.
You guys aren't going to care about any of these games once you play Outriders.
I haven't. It's on my PS5. I haven't tried it yet. I'm downloaded on PC as well. But like, go into it. Like, he was gushing about it before.
Outriders to the Pause Gang.
Okay,
let's hear it.
Pause Gang. Here we go. Outriders is. It is a combination.
All the words you
it's
use.
A combination.
It's a third person.
Okay. This is for our boy Destinot. It is a third person action adventure with RPG elements, and you can
Mass
take
Effect,
cover.
Like with cross meets
and you can take cover.
What meets Destiny meets you used a few different
games.
It's
Mass Effect, Gears, The Division, the good parts of The Division, which are few and far between, and Destiny. As far as like there's loot and stuff. Here's what I loved. They have built a world here. They have set a story for you. Like it felt like I was like, there's parts that feel like Mass Effect because you're heading to this new world because Earth was destroyed. So it's like, wow, there's some like Serenity Firefly vibes, right? From for their lore. And you're heading to this new world, and the characters got like cowboy hats on, but they're also wearing similar armor to Mass Effect, but with gear. Like it is like Mass Effect, but with like Gears armor, but they're not all oversized and bulky looking, right? They look proportionate. There's beards. You can have a massive beard if you want, which, you know, that's something that everybody's wanted in like Destiny and stuff. So it's very much a cover-based shooter. So it did have some of the like Division kind of vibes, but you know how slow the Division was and how it was like everything was just a bullet sponge and you were just stuck in cover forever.
Division loot wasn't fun.
No. So this game,
and they kept making it worse, right? Every update they would take away your sweet setup you have, like they would just nerf the crap out of it, and you're like, oh good, now I'm doing no DPS.
Yeah, so I have just barely scratched the surface with like your powers, because you can pick between four different abilities. the demo's a decent size. You get to level up to level 7, and I think there's like at least four side quests plus I don't know how they explained it in the beginning of the demo, but it's a decent sized demo. So
is it similar to like the Destiny demo where are there missions and stuff to go do and then side quest, like is it just open world or is it?
So I haven't gotten far enough to know. Right now it's been relatively linear, like go here. It gives like, guys, it's so much you can tell it's a square.
You got Henny's attention just with beards, and he's knee deep. He's up to his neck in Destiny.
Right? Yeah.
Who makes Outrider?
Square Enix.
Well, they publish it.
Square.
They're just the publisher, though, right?
They just publish it. I have it up on Steam. Hold on, I'm looking.
I think it's like people play.
People can fly.
People can fly.
Oh, they did. Didn't they do Bulletstorm? Like they were part of.
I just clicked on them on Steam here. Yeah, Bulletstorm.
Yeah, they're part of the old Blizzy
Duke
Flippy
Nukem.
B, right?
So there you go. That explains. Right? That explains a lot. Yep.
Who they became? He came off of there and left Epic or whatever, and right.
Well, and then he went off into the sunset with his millions upon millions of dollars.
So okay, so that explains a lot.
So now you have my attention.
Perfect. Well, I mean, what I'm hesitant to mention Division because it has such a none of us are fans really, but it's like the Division done right. Here's what I really liked. Yeah. As I'm playing, I'm getting kills, loot is dropping, and I can decide to pick it up or I can press X to immediately equip it, and I don't have to go into a menu screen to scope it out.
Is there an auto dismantle feature? That was what people want in Destiny for forever.
Right. Again, I'm not far enough along yet, but I have a feeling. I don't know if there's going to be multiplayer in this game as far as versus.
I hope there's crossplay stuff if it is.
But this game has me really excited. It's going to. I've recorded like 3 videos for this game, and I don't think I'm going to put any of them up. But it literally like scratched so many different itches. I was like, there's loot. Here's the thing: you can sprint and then hit B, and you'll do a roll, right? So if somebody throws a nade at you, you can see the blast radius of where it'll get you, and you can roll out of it. You're getting headshots. The heads are coming off. Bodies are just like it's Gears style gore. Like it's really
makes sense.
Very much Gears style gore. I don't like.
We'll have to report back after this next week because I have it. Yeah. I think I have it downloaded upstairs, and then I'm downloading it down here. So I'll definitely check it out in 2 different spots and see. Is it next gen only or is it?
I don't
know. It's
so.
PS4 because it had a PS4. I remember seeing it had a PS4 demo on the PlayStation Store. So,
and he says, "I don't want to get hurt again." Division 2, Anthem, right?
So that is my transition right there. Because did you guys see the news? Was that today? I think it was today. BioWare and EA announced that they are shutting. Like it's not shuttered yet.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
But they are stopping development on Anthem, and they like had a small devoted team that was like committed to fixing Anthem, and that is I think they're being rolled into either the Mass Effect group or I don't know where they're rolling those people into, but they're leaving the game live for right now, but it's getting canned pretty much.
I did see it.
The download,
and I've been seeing all these memes of Zavala or whatever, like sitting at a gravesite, with Anthem, and he's like, here's the Destiny killer or whatever. Which that term right there is the stupidest thing to me. Like when people are like, oh, this is no, like why does one game have to exist and the other game can't? Like you can like 2 things. I know
there can be only one.
It's crazy. You can drink Pepsi and Coke and nothing's gonna happen to you. You can drink the off-brand even, if you do like the Division. We're gonna get
a cease and desist on our first episode.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like,
but do you remember the grind that it was to play both Destiny and Division when they came out? It was a lot.
I think that's it, right? You can't play multiple MMOs.
It's the FOMO.
Well.
Yeah, it's because those live service games, they're putting stuff out to make you have the fear of missing out. And Destiny 2 killed off my FOMO for Destiny, so I kind of stopped caring a little bit. I've dabbled back in, but it's never been enough to keep it. And the conversation I see on Twitter with regards to Destiny multiplayer right now is toxic, and the anti-cheat is not strong enough in that game right now to keep people wanting to play it. I don't know if it's probably in a little bit better state on console, but it became so hard for me to play that game on a base Xbox, even with the S that I have, because the loading times are just so bad when you get pampered by PC load times that are that much better. So I'm sure Henny enjoys his load times on his Series X, but it
he said Destiny is the Destiny killer.
It's true.
And I mean,
but yeah, like Destiny's always been good for the guns, and that's what's been fun. And it's had the raids have been incredible. I haven't played the newest one yet, but yeah, it is a lot to take on multiple of those live service games. Which I mean, I think Josh and I talked about. I don't know if you were. I don't think you were on that show, Eric. But we talked a little bit about Star Wars stuff when that got announced with the what is it,
Massive doing the Star Wars game.
The Division team taking on that Star Wars game, and we're worried that it might be a Division like kind of game. But I'm hoping that they see. And that was also something else I saw today.
I probably have like 300 hours in Division overall, which isn't a lot for that type of game, but it's a lot for me. Like, I enjoyed the game. Its end game really left a lot to be desired. So I think they've got a lot of cool concepts, and they've got a lot of room they could improve. So you shouldn't fear it, because I think they have a good base, and they could do some cool things with Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean,
they could also screw it up, though.
But I think EA finally realized that the success that I think the article I saw was from Jason Schreier today that said EA recognized the success that Fallen Order had versus Anthem, and they gave the Dragon Age team the clearance to nix online multiplayer, not making it a live experience and just focusing on single player, which is good.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, they're so different. It's not really fair to compare Anthem to Fallen Order, because they were trying to go after completely different things. So it's not, Anthem wasn't unsuccessful because nobody wanted to play that type of game. It was unsuccessful because they did a poor job with it, and that's how a lot of these go.
True. I mean, I think that was the problem with Fallout 76. Like, people want an Elder Scrolls or a Fallout experience with their friends, and yet when they get it, it wasn't a well delivered package for Fallout 76. I think it's gotten better, but I have it downloaded because it was on Game Pass, but I haven't tried it out yet.
It's the juggling act that these devs have to do between the suits and the consumer. Right? They've got to get a product out in time. They've got to get a product that the consumer wants to play long term.
Well, and talking about suits, CD Projekt Red had a problem with suits.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
That's still not on the PS Store. Still. Unbelievably.
And they put out a statement, I think, that said they weren't going to be able to meet their self-imposed deadline of a next gen patch or something like that, so they're pushing that. But
yeah, their hack was bad.
My Best Buy has probably 200 copies or more of that game on PlayStation 4 behind the counter. I was like, people didn't pick up their pre-orders, huh? Like, is that what's going on here? Like, what?
So when are those going to end up in an ET landfill?
Yeah, they're coasters at this point, you know? They're coasters. So, but yeah, like, and I didn't know that the team behind this game was the Bulletstorm, and I had no idea. But it's very apparent now. And the only thing when you get, like, if a new gun shows up, you do have to go to the menu for that just to swap out. But there's time in between fights because, it makes sense. You don't want to pick up something that ends up being less.
Is the menu like Destiny where you pause and the game is still interacting around you?
I don't think so. I think it stops. I think it does stop. So, and I saw some, like, Githalion originally tweeted out about the game. He didn't like it. And then he came back and said, I don't know exactly what he said. I don't know if he said he didn't like it, but he wasn't super thrilled with it. Then he came back and said, actually, I changed my mind. This is actually I don't know the exact quote, but
so today was the day. Like, was there early access for some influencers earlier before the demo was out today?
I'm not sure, but Xbox Live went down the same time the demo went live, and so I was fortunate enough I could still log in and play, like, Call of Duty, but I could not get into Outriders. Like,
I wonder if it was their servers then that just got overloaded.
Well, I was keeping my eye on their Twitter feed, and they were like, this may be the issue that you can't get in on Xbox because Xbox Live is down. Right, for, like, multiplayer, the store. I tried to buy the season pass for Call of Duty.
Lizard Squad strikes again.
I couldn't do it. So, but no, I really do think this is going to be, because you stick to cover like Gears. Like, how Gears implemented cover very
hit a button
well.
And you slide into it.
Well, not only that, but, like, if there's another piece of cover off in the distance, you hold down A, you'll run and slide and then hit the cover, and then you can come up.
That's all Cliffy in there.
Yeah, you can come up firing, and it's honestly, I was waiting to pick up a body and use it as a meat shield. Like, I was like, this is very very Gears like, and I threw a melee and then pulled the shotgun out. I was like, oh, the 2-piece, you know what I mean? Like, there was some serious Gears vibes there, but and I mean, think about
I'd have to look, because I think People Can Fly, I know they made Bulletstorm. Did they do any Gears games? Did they do Judgment? Or does anyone remember?
I think Coalition started working on Judgment, maybe, or it was 4 their Coalition's first game.
I thought 4 was Coalition's first.
Let me look.
It doesn't matter, but I know People Can Fly have a rich Cliffy B Gears history somehow. I swore they made Judgment or something.
There's
Cliff
chance.
Blazinski designed it. It says, but developers People Can Fly, Epic Games
for Judgment
Game Studios. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So it makes total sense.
It's a solid shooter. Like, and honestly, just the little taste that I had of, like, early game, I'm really excited for what the end game is going to hold when you're like this unstoppable force that, like, and playing with the right teams, and what will be interesting is like raids, if they have those. Like, I don't know anything about this game, right?
I'm trying to find out if it's multiplayer. It does say co-op, looter shooter.
Yeah, it's got
crossplay.
Online, but I don't know about
crossplay.
Yeah, that's what we need to be able to hop in. So
for sure.
Henny says, why are the cutscenes handled with some dude with an iPhone? They're so shaky. And I mean, they go for that realistic cinematic kind of
Blair Witch
raw footage.
kind of raw footage. And so I don't like, I have a feeling it's going to be a game we talk about regularly on the show, because it's only about a month out, and
he says there's crossplay. I wonder if that's cross
gen
to Xbox, or is it just cross gen PS to PS, Xbox to?
That's the questions we have to ask now. With all
it's so ridiculous. There's so much. Can my Switch play it?
Yeah, no. Well, and Rainbow Six Siege is cross gen, not cross play.
Yeah, I know.
So
I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, that was the first one I upgraded. I was like, yeah, we're gonna like.
Well, and the updates that they have coming out are looking pretty cool too. Like, the amount of care Ubisoft is putting into that game.
Yeah, that
cool.
Rainbow team has done a killer job. The
Taking
game,
a badly reviewed game at the get go, and turning it into something.
And I loved it from the get-go, but you know, obviously I've got rose-tinted glasses when it comes to Rainbow.
For sure.
And I
we wouldn't be
I
here right
enjoy
now
it.
without Rainbow.
That you're right, 100%. And I liked it, but yeah, it's only gotten better since then. You know, they've made crazy improvements. I still support them. I bought it, or I paid to upgrade the PS5 version once I got my PS5.
Yeah. Henny says there is crossplay. Settings enable crossplay. Specifically says different platforms. So there you go.
Killer.
We're playing this week. Cool. We are jumping in and playing this week. So I went big shocker. When
does it come out?
April 1st.
Okay.
It was originally set for holiday 2020, and it I think it's had multiple delays. Sure. Which, I mean, great.
Well, everything this last year and this year.
Yeah, and let it simmer. It feels pretty polished and looks pretty good. And the world is alive. Like it also kind of gave me some Turok vibes, where you're like out in this wilderness with like giant creatures that you can fight with if you want to.
And there's that one part you were telling us earlier that reminded you of Mario 64.
Where you get this hat and then you can fly. And Lakitu is like, hey, this is how you use the camera. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, thanks for that.
Right, yeah, familiar. Perfect.
So, yeah, but the first thing I'm going to do as soon as the show ends is I'm going to move it over to my internal to see if it looks even better.
There you go.
But I will say this, will be the last thing I say about it. It's a Square Enix game. It kind of feels a little bit like a PlayStation style game.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Final Fantasy. And
no.
Yeah,
it's also got
it's going to die.
Like this cloud guy showed up with this giant sword. No, but you guys will have to tell me, because I don't play a lot of PlayStation, right? But it kind of feels a little bit like a PlayStation style game, but with like really solid shooting mechanics and stuff. So I don't know
what I hope they bring back this gen for PlayStation specifically. I want them to give Killzone another shot, because the PS4 launch Shadow, whatever it was called, I forget. It was a pretty solid game. I really enjoyed it.
Gotcha.
And did Insomniac make that, or
no? That was Guerrilla. That was Guerrilla Games, I think. Right? I believe so. I believe that's Guerrilla Games, but they probably gave up to make Horizon. Anyways, you're talking about shooters. It made me think of
Guerrilla Games. Yep. Yeah, I mean that was a launch PS4 game, right? Wasn't that the last Killzone?
Yep, it was. And I thought the game was good. The only complaint I had is it felt like the camera was in the middle of your chest, not at your head. So like your player felt way shorter than he should if the camera was right here. So that was the only complaint.
Oh man, remember what was that one game that killed Haze or whatever? Remember that killed the Free Radical or whatever, the team that made Time Splitters?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that called Haze? That thing was, you'd be walking and all of a sudden your knees would be down into the ground, and so then
you just clip through the level.
You just clip through, and you're like, "Am I in snow? Like, what just happened? This is horrible." So, go ahead. I was just gonna say state of play and the direct, like, kind of touch on them a little bit more.
And Eric, did you pick up Bowser's Fury and 3D World?
Yeah, I did.
Have you? I have 100%ed Bowser's Fury. I'm like halfway through replaying 3D World, and I'm also have a second file playing with William, which playing with a child is a new experience when it comes to 3D World, because it's horrible camera and horrible like keeping you on the same screen. And I'm thinking that like this is one of the first, like I've done some 2D Mario with William, but like letting him and he had been playing on the 8-bit do non-joystick controller here, and he asked me for a gamepad with controller with joystick, so I gave him one. But like a 7-year-old, just like not a whole lot of experience with that kind of stuff. That camera at the angle and the worlds with just the sheer cliffs, he just walks off. Like it's really bad. But it's been fun. Like I had fun with Bowser's Fury. I'm kind of curious how far you guys are in. But but it definitely feels like a proof of concept, I think, for them.
Yeah, so I played I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 cycles of Bowser, Mecha Bowser, whatever they call Gigamon Bowser. I forget what his name is, but so not a lot, but enough to kind of get the concepts. And I thought it was cool, but I wanted to finish 3D World. And they're really not at all related. You know, it's funny because I don't think it's using. It looks like
Catsuit's the only thing.
That's the only thing that really links those two games together, because it looks like they're using the Odyssey engine for Bowser's Fury. And
the problem is Mario's movement is different. He doesn't have triple jump. He doesn't have backflip. He doesn't have
Cappy,
like the Cappy hat, or like the. I keep wanting to, after playing so much Galaxy in the 3D collection, I want to do that little just arm spin to delay your fall a little bit. I miss that from Galaxy. It'd be nice if there'd be a way to find a good way to combine everything together. Jump like Mario's movement, but
Mario have all his abilities that he's ever learned.
Well, and outside of that,
Bowser's...
outside of that, it felt like a love letter to Nintendo, to Mario fans, of like, here's all the power-ups from like each game, kind of, you know, like, I don't know, it felt, but yeah, the movement was definitely off.
Yeah, and I thought Bowser's Fury's a cool, like you were saying, proof of concept, and I wouldn't mind seeing, hopefully with Bowser not being every 6 minutes or whatever it ends up being, like that part I think will wear on people quickly, but having an open world Mario like that, where you can kind of go anywhere and it unlocks as you unlock, you know, shrines or whatever you call them, and if they made that a full-blown game, I think that'd be pretty cool, and I like this idea.
I completely agree. It does seem like I've been saying it even before it came out, that I feel like this is a prequel to something, you know, like it's like, did they really just do all of this just for this short 6-hour experience? You know, it seems off a little bit. It seems strange, and I'm kind of like, I loved Odyssey, right? Favorite 3D Mario.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't miss Cappy. I don't miss that mechanic.
It was a boring. We've talked about it on NPC, but like, it was a boring. And maybe it's me just getting older playing Mario games, but like, if you go back to the older 1, 2, 3 and World, it's a lot less handholdy, and it's a good challenge. This game like presents you with the power-ups that you need right before the thing you do that you need it, and 3D World will, if you fail a couple times, present you with easy mode, like the gold catsuit or whatever, the white catsuit, and it's, I don't know, the hand-holdiness of it all. I want the challenge. I want like, and that kind of comes with the darker side on Odyssey, but like, it is the Cappy mechanic where there's nothing quite special about everything he's doing. It's all just, it's just take over stuff, and it kind of got old by the end, where the real challenge came out in Odyssey. And I haven't gone back and replayed Odyssey. Maybe I need to, and maybe it would feel better, but yeah,
I think
I
just
need to start it.
In general, Mario's have gotten easier. Like, I don't think Mario initially, when, you know, we were kids, but I don't think Mario was a kid game initially. You know, it was a challenging platformer all the way up until, I know you're going to think I'm just throwing shade, but up until World, I would say that it wasn't a kid's game. World is still challenging, and you know, you can see a game over screen in there, but they clearly made the decision that, okay, Mario's a brand and it's a kid's title, and here's Yoshi, and you know, so they've gotten just easier. I think they're just not as challenging. Like, when was the last time you saw a game over screen?
Yeah, Odyssey didn't have it. 3D World can.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how you could ever see it.
Nintendo tweeted the Infinite Life shortcut in 1-2 today on their Twitter.
Yeah.
And then yeah, in Bowser's Fury, you just lose 50 coins and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's a different era, right? Like we were getting home consoles that were coming off of, they had to design games to eat quarters.
Yeah.
So they had to be difficult. They also needed to be difficult so that it felt like you were getting a value, because because
the games aren't very long if you know how to do it.
Exactly. You can beat Mario at like back in the day, I could beat it in like 5 or 10 minutes.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, you get to the end of the freaking game and then it's like, oh yeah, you gotta do this all again if you really want to win. You're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. But I remember when the NES...
Star Fox 64, you can't even save it. You gotta play through and beat it all the way through.
Right. Yeah. And I remember playing Contra when the NES Classic came out with my son, and he died. He was gone. Like, he was like 14 at the time. He was gone, and I'm flipping and jumping over bullets and just not even dying at all. And he's like looking at me like, how are you doing this? Like, how is this?
He's just not built for that.
And
life.
It's just like, yeah, I mean, this is what we had. It's what we, I mean... we were conditioned for that.
Yeah,
I had a $20 challenge on Contra 4. If you can beat this with all your continues on easy, I will give you $20. And I never paid anybody that $20. I never did it. I got to the point, I played it enough, I could beat it without dying that first level. But it's because it's just the pattern, right? It's all it boils down to. But games are different now. Games, and I don't like. Could you imagine if Mario was like super hard, and you gave, like you were already saying with Will, he's walking off the walking like it's just a completely different time. And
yeah,
so the true hard mode is play with a kid. And
that is a true hard mode. Exactly.
Yeah, I guess you could have done that in Odyssey because the kid could play Cappy, right?
Right. Oh, that would make it really hard.
That basically takes that mechanic away from
you. Yeah. So, I mean, Mario Golf. Come on, you guys.
Oh yeah.
I feel like they've had that locked and loaded for a little bit. I think it's going to be pretty polished. I think. I hope that they learn their lesson from the shortcomings of Aces, because Aces looked great initially, and it fell flat with a single player experience on top of a very one-sided kind of multiplayer experience that was definitely reliant on others. And golf is a good game that at least you can persist individually, and hopefully they take some speed. Golf looks amazing. I hope they take some aspects of like the 3DS version where you could just play throughout the week, right? I hope they have that kind of stuff integrated in.
I'm excited for the third-person story mode with RPG elements.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I think that's where they took their lesson, hopefully, and they swallowed a pill, and they go back to those sports games having a decent single-player experience.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, every console sports game has just been, as far as I know, I mean, I guess I haven't played the other, but it seems like every review I would read of a mini Mario Tennis game was like, it didn't innovate enough. There's not enough innovation. Aces comes out and they're like, here's super moves, here's rackets breaking, here's all this stuff. And then people are like, why doesn't it have more RPG elements? And I'm like, I could care less about the RPG stuff.
Yeah, I loved Aces.
Same.
You and I think, both really loved it. Yeah. It was a blast. The gameplay was fantastic, and the online worked, which says a lot for a Nintendo game.
Not only did it work, but it tested the connection with the person you were playing with, and you could decide if they didn't have enough bars, you could bounce out.
Yeah.
Where's that in Smash?
Well, and that iteration came out of the tech test that they had, so that was good.
The one where all of us North Americans played on Japanese
servers. Yeah. I had it downloaded 2 different ways. I was so nervous I'm so nervous whenever I go into the Japanese eShop. I'm like, I hope I'm not buying anything.
Yeah. I remember. I remember Josh was saying like, I have a Japanese account and I don't remember why. I was like, Aces. I remember why.
Oh yeah,
That's why we all have it.
there you go.
I also have it. And I keep the Super Famicom and the Famicom tiles updated, which they got just crap this last iteration.
Same as us.
Yeah.
But
Josh and I were looking. We played. Did we play Smash on Monday? Is that when we played Smash?
Yes, I think.
Yeah, but
after we played
back,
Marvel Ultimate Alliance, right?
Yeah. But we looked at the trailer and we were looking at the website. The website on Smash is like really pretty. It's grown quite a bit, and we noticed something unique about Mithra and Pyra is they're numbered 79 and 80, which is different than any of the echoes or some of the echo. I guess some echoes. Does Daisy have a number?
Yeah, she's an Echo. It has a number, but it has an E next to it also.
Yeah. But the first thing that clicked with both of us, we looked at each other and we're like, we might get 2 amiibo.
Dude, like if you go back to my tweets, as soon as somebody, I grabbed a picture of him, I was like, anybody else thinking about amiibo here? Because like, let's go. I want amiibo. But yeah, they are 79 and 80, even though they are the same character.
Same fighter, yeah.
Yeah.
And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is sold out in Japan.
Don't forget me.
Yep.
Think you could take me? Don't forget me.
That was like some of my favorite episodes is listening to Eric talk about Xenoblade. Because I'm gushing about this game and he's just like, I can't do it. Like I can't listen to the power of friendship one more time.
Why did they not have more diverse dialogue in that game? Like
they patched it. They patched it eventually.
Did they?
I think that's what we saw.
I don't know.
They did, but you were like, it's too late. I've already broken up with them.
Damage was done.
Yeah,
the damage was done.
I think that this round of DLC fighters is Sakurai kind of getting some of the stuff that he wanted to. I read an article that said ARMS and Xenoblade were 2 games that he wanted to have in the base launch that he wasn't able to do. So this is kind of them getting retroactively that stuff in there.
Any other highlights for you guys on the Direct?
I'm trying to think. It was like 2 weeks ago now.
I know.
Aces was definitely the. Okay. I've seen a lot of hate for lack of Zelda 35 content, but I think people need to calm down because of Corona. Mario 35 is not over yet.
Yeah, and Mario 35
35th anniversary.
Mario 35 got announced like what was that August? Is that when that direct was? That little like not a direct.
It was late August and then September the game came out like a week later. It was like early September.
Yeah. So I mean, we have time.
Yeah, people need to chill. I think Skyward Sword is, obviously a step in that direction, but I'm guessing we're still going to get Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD and probably a package.
According to inside sources, Zelda. They are absolutely going to be on the Switch this fiscal year.
It would be stupid of them not to. Yeah. Like, I mean, obviously they're going to do it. If they can sell you more Zelda, they're going to. But they don't want to take away. Mario still has, the fiscal year ends in March for Nintendo, so they're going to run Mario until March, and then, after that, I would expect to see. But Skyward Sword's probably the Zelda I'm least excited about. I will pick it up and play it because I didn't.
I'm excited, but I have it. I have it on Wii U. I haven't really played it, or not Wii U. I have it on the Wii. I can play it on my Wii U or Wii. I picked it up through GameStop after the fact just because I did want a complete Zelda collection because I know that game is important to the lore because it's an origin story pretty much. So I'm thinking about how I want to play it, and I'm definitely going to try the joystick control, and we'll see how it goes. But I tried to get the Joy-Con when they first launched on Best Buy, and I think they've been on a few different sites since as well. They will get a restock, I'm fairly confident, but They're all sold out everywhere right now. But I'm thinking that I will give this game a chance, maybe upstairs on my TV in my second dock with some space to actually do it. So we'll see. But I'm worried what fixed camera and Z targeting is gonna feel like in this day and age where we're so used to controlling our own camera.
I know. That's the part where it's like, man, that's gonna be rough. But I mean, I want to play it for the story, just like you were saying. So I will play it, and I might even give the Joy-Con split motion control a chance, because I know that's the way Nintendo intended you to play it. And usually Nintendo's pretty good. Other companies maybe aren't as good at pushing their technology, but Nintendo's pretty good at incorporating their technology, so I might give it a shot.
And the Joy-Con are that much better than the Wii Motion Plus, so
yeah, I mean, exactly.
They've iterated pretty well, and the tech really knows where you are. So I trust.
To circle back really quick to golf, the three of us need to have a golf off with actual Joy-Con control.
Motion control.
Motion control.
It's all in the hips. I saw a tweet that was like,
but more broken screens.
Oh, I saw it. I think somebody posted in the Discord of memes or whatever. It's like, oh, I want to get this new TV, honey. And then she's like, well, is the TV good? I'll have to go back and look at it. He's like, yeah, this one's fine. She's like, well, then we don't need a new TV. And he goes, here, kids, here's a Wii.
I love it. Blind Fate says, how likely do you think Prime Trilogy is going to be? I think there's no question. I think right now, we saw...
They need to ride the hype train when Metroid is going to be closer to being ready, is what they're going to do.
Well, and we have a healthy Nintendo right now, right? And a healthy Nintendo means they can take risks. They can put out IPs that maybe aren't going to... They're only going to be like million sellers instead of, the system sellers.
Yeah.
And
sports games don't traditionally sell well. So, I mean...
Mario Golf on the 3DS didn't even break 500,000 sales. Right? But I mean,
that's crazy.
But I think on the Switch, it's going to be a different story. I think it's going to be 1 million to 2 million easy. Yeah. Because I think what's going to happen is it's going to be the same effect as Animal Crossing, that everybody's going to see everybody playing speed golf and they're going to rush out and get the game. If Nintendo supports golf like they did the last one, they put on monthly or weekly tournaments. We can have our own tournament. I mean, They did it was the first title, the golf title was the first game that Nintendo ever did a season pass. And it was with a golf game that only sold 500,000 units, not even. So I think, and the last time we saw a Metroid Trilogy was on the Wii. Again, healthy Nintendo, 80 million units of the Wii was sold, right? Is it 80 million or 102 million? I can't remember, but
they're north of 100. So
yeah, so when we have a healthy Nintendo, I definitely see us getting, and the thing that I'm always looking at is we've seen retailers post that game is out or so
it's in their SKU,
so
but it's not, but it could because Retro is brought in to fix Prime 4. Nintendo's not going to squander the hype cycle of Prime Trilogy. They're going to give you the time to play the game before Prime 4 comes out, but they're going to ride a larger wave of that and have it be a Nintendo 35 or Mario 35 style announcement where it's like, hey, get this in a week or two and be ready for Prime 4 when it comes holiday 2022. That's what it's going to be.
It could be. We do have the 35th anniversary of Metroid as well, so maybe it does see a little bit of love. There's also some great 2D games, and please, for the love of all things precious, bring over Samus Returns from the 3DS, 2DS to the Switch.
Up-res it. It already looks pretty good, but up-res it a little bit.
Yeah, it would be great. It would be so great. So,
have you, any of you? I have Triangle Strategy or whatever downloaded. I haven't played it yet. Have any of you tried it yet?
I have it downloaded. I'm excited because I loved Project Octopath, or that's not the name, Octopath Traveler.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obviously not necessarily a direct sequel. They changed the elements to make the tactical too, but it's same team and graphics are the same. I'm very excited for it. I need to play.
I hope Republic Commando gets multiplayer as well. That was confirmed.
Yep. And
that's going to be, and it's $15. It's not that much. I think.
Perfect.
I think it's like 15.
It won't have online then.
It probably not. But I'll pick it up.
Settled it. Maybe some couch co-op or something.
That's settled. Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Tate and I are both going to double dip on that.
Yeah.
I will quadruple dip on that game. I'm all in. 100%. I'm gonna get the upgrade on March 26th on the PS5 and then I'm
kind of kicking myself that I got it on Xbox and I don't have it on PlayStation. So.
Buy it again.
I know.
Buy all the times. That's our childhood.
It's our childhood.
And it's worth it.
Tony Hawk for Smash is what I'm saying.
Oof, there you go.
Just,
there you go.
Just clubbing Mario with a skateboard.
You might get me.
Yeah, that's the visual I saw. I was just taking a skateboard.
So, and then Diablo 2.
Diablo 2. Yeah. I never played it. I had a friend in high school that played it a lot. I've never played it. I played 3. I'm excited to. I'm probably going to get it on both PC and Switch. Probably is what I'm going to get it.
Diablo 2 was the best, of the genre, in my opinion. I really liked the first one when I was very little, but I played that, and then Diablo 2 was just revolutionary. It was amazing.
But the question is, do you guys double dip on these, or do you go
that one has cross progression?
It has cross progression. I'm going to get it on Switch.
Doing it would be fine. Yeah.
Okay. I got you. And then Crash 4, of course. The games I just mentioned weren't even in the Direct, and the Direct I felt was kind of loaded.
Well, and PlayStation just killed my because I have Insane Trilogy on Switch that I haven't really played. Insane Trilogy is part of the free 20 games or whatever you get as a PlayStation 5 owner, as being the PlayStation Plus free games or whatever. So I have that there to play as well. But then seeing the Crash 4 PS5 upgrades in today's state of play, when they say taking advantage of adaptive triggers, it's a buzzword right now, and that is a way to get me to probably get it over there if I'm going to get it anywhere.
And I've got the 3D audio, and so they added that, and it's in 4K. It looks really good. I'll probably pick it up on PS5. But it also looks really cool on Switch, and if that's the way you have to play it, you should do it. It looks cool. It looks fun.
I just am I'm so excited to be playing shooters again. I'm not gonna lie. I'm having way too much fun in Call of Duty and Battlefront and stuff. But last little bit, let's just kind of top it off. We kind of talked about it throughout the whole show, but I mean, overall, the state of play, it kind of seemed I felt for the Sony fans. They know what Nintendo fans have felt for the last 530 days. It
was kind of it was lackluster kind of on both fronts of Nintendo and PlayStation. It didn't really give you the big showpiece that you were hoping for, I think, that everyone's kind of wanting.
Splatoon 3.
It's good to see, it's good to see that there is more stuff in the pipeline and it is coming out. The state of play, I think everything was April, May, June, July. I think it was all fairly more straightforward.
They didn't even announce
Nintendo straight up lied to us.
Game.
So yeah, that's true.
They lie every time.
That's true. We got the place. Oddworld is going to be in April, right? They gave us one of the.
That's the PS5 one, yeah, but we don't even know what the March PS Plus games are.
Yeah.
I was expecting that.
That'll be in the PlayStation blog here in 2 days.
I think here's the difference, and not the difference, but here I think what Sony's going after with their state of play is giving more light to the smaller games like Returnal, which is a smaller developer, because God of War is going to sell itself.
Right.
They don't need to pitch it in a state of play. Same with Horizon. They're big hitters. Because Ratchet and Clank's in what? 2, 3
June.
So was it 3 months away? What month are we in? What year is it?
We're almost in March, so we're almost 3 months away from it.
and so I think those are going to get enough marketing on their own that it makes sense not to put those in the state of play. And I think that's what they were going for. But everyone always has really high expectations into it. I didn't expect to see the Final Fantasy VII, and then also for it to be free. free upgrade, I was like, oh hell yeah, like sign me up. That's awesome.
And a new episode as well, like because that's the big question about
you
that
have to
game.
pay for the episode.
Yeah, but at least it's coming, because a lot of people, we don't know. There's no roadmap for that game and when it's going to complete the whole episode, or like all of the episodes that make up Final Fantasy VII.
But the episode is only for PS5.
No, I don't think so. Is it?
So I was talking to chat afterwards, and that's the impression chat had as well, because like it only had the PlayStation 5 logo, but Sony's done this before, right? Where they were like, oh, this is...
Miles Morales was badly marketed as being on PS4. Yeah.
So I don't, but I'm seriously scratching my head going, they're not going to put this Final Fantasy game out to the 80,000 or 80 million, whatever, or 100 million PlayStation 4 owners and to the 4 million PlayStation 5 owners? Like, I just can't see. I could see it if it was a year from now, maybe, but that seems crazy. These guys are like, their Google machines are going.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. I don't know. It doesn't really indicate to me. I mean, it just says it's a separate thing. I'm guessing you'll be able to, but I don't. We'll have to.
They definitely marketed it today as if it was only PlayStation 5. So, and I mean, I know there's Final Fantasy fans that are like losing their mind over it. I don't know if they did
though, because they showed the Final Fantasy Yuffie stuff first, and then they showed the PS5 enhancements in the second half of that video. That first half of that video was all the new episode.
So Wario 64's recap tweet stuff, I'm going through his stuff. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade announced out June 10th for PS5. So
yeah, Intergrade is not the episode though. That's the actual upgrade.
Man, they have a branding problem.
Wait, I thought that was the new episode.
I thought that's the new episode too. Like, this is very
it says you get upgraded to Intergrade, but you still have to pay for the episode. Is what, if you read the really quick fine print, it says PS4. If you own it on PS4, you get the free upgrade.
Yeah,
but you still have to buy the episode.
The episode.
Separate.
Okay. So weird.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll let you know.
We'll get to
don't you worry. Pause game.
The Kung Fu game. What was that called? Like the fist fighting, like Kung Fu.
Oh, that looked cool.
That looked pretty cool.
I like the concept that they didn't explain it all, but I gathered that every time you die, you get older, and I was like, man, how cool is that? Like, I've never, we've never seen a concept like that, and that's kind of neat. It might be a little, novel, like little thing in the end, but it was kind of cool because I'm hoping like at some point I'm this super old, like, warrior, gray,
all grizzled,
yeah, because I'm gonna die a lot, so. Well, and that's the other thing. Can you beat the game without dying, and you're just like 18 years old the whole game?
Somebody will do it.
Oh yeah.
People beat the bosses at the beginning of the Souls games where you're supposed to die immediately. That there's people that beat the crazy ways. Yeah. But yeah, Deathloop. Eric and I were talking at the beginning. We're still not quite sure. They haven't shown a lot of this game for us to like understand what is fully in like how it works. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, they also haven't shown why I should buy it.
Exactly.
I'm right. I was like, I like the music. It's got some James Bond vibes, and the one kill where he like shot her up in the air and then shot her out of the air. I was like, that's cool. I'm still not sold.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't play it anyway because it's PlayStation exclusive.
Is it? I couldn't remember. I thought we first saw that game on Xbox, and then we were seeing it a second time, and so I was like, I asked Chad, I was like, was this on Xbox?
Xbox owns it now, but it's
at least going to be a timed PlayStation exclusive. But,
is it from Bethesda?
That one might be the timed. Yeah,
I'm not sure, but it's definitely PlayStation only as of this point.
All right, we're gonna put a bow on this thing. I just have two things I have to share real quick. I got two of the like I got some amazing birthday gifts, but two of them really, really stood out to me. One, if you're watching this with us, is a custom Game Boy, right?
Oh,
that has
Game Boy Color.
Yeah, Game Boy Color.
Put some respect on that
from
name.
Steel Sand Gaming, has my logo printed on this thing. His logo on the back. The buttons are all the N64 color of buttons. The D-pad's green, B and A are blue and red, and then the on-off switch is yellow, just like the C buttons. And my uncle gave me a Iron Man comic from my exact birth date. It's as old as I am.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, he came with this paper bag, and I opened it up, and he's like, check the date. And I was like, oh, cool, it's February 15th. He's like, no, check the full date. And I was like,
check the real date.
What? That's like, he's like, the back of it has an ad for like Lego, the ones that were mechanical when we were kids, you know, that like they
like the Tinker Toys stuff?
No, they moved, like they literally moved.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I had a bunch of those.
Kinetics or something,
or gears.
Yeah. And he sent me a picture. He's like, yeah, here's the next month or whatever, and it had Empire Strikes Back for Atari. He was like, this is the one I was hoping it had, so that you could have Star Wars on the back. But anyway,
that's a cool gift. A lot of people do like newspapers or whatever from the day you were born. Like you've seen that. I haven't heard of anyone doing a comic. I
hadn't either.
Cool.
Like I was like, it's seriously a pretty rad gift. So he even has
frame that.
It's graded, but it's like, I mean, he got it in high school, so he read it and stuff. But
that's even better.
Yeah,
you got to frame that.
Yep, absolutely. So press pause. Episode 1. Where do you guys want to be found somewhere? Where do you want to be found, Eric?
Well, I want you all, press pause gang. I want you to press pause, watch this show. When are we doing this? Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays? Weekly. We're going to do a weekly.
Weekly, because we snapshot into our week. Monday morning, one of the three of us text each other and be like, well, how are we looking? And that's how it goes. So,
and it's usually me who's like, yeah, not gonna work. But yeah, you can find me all the usual places. Come join the Discord. Come hang out. We're really excited about this, and we're hoping that this brings some new people to the Discord too, who are interested in Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo and just PC games. We're trying to do it all. A little bit of everything. So come hang out.
We'll get a discussion page put up on the Discord or something like that for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys aren't going to believe this. I literally just lost the recording.
Is it too long?
As we were saying goodbye, the recording just disappeared. So I'll pull it from the stream. We're fine. It's not good. Like I always have backups, but like literally just.
That's what we get with the discussion show. We're unshackled.
Yeah. I'll have to see. I may have to just record the audio.
Just go raw audio. On the computer.
Not video, and then. I think what happens...
Then you could sync it up with the VOD, probably.
Or I'll just
use the VOD.
Yeah, I'll just move the VOD over from Twitch is what we'll do. So, well, there you go. Episode 1. Technical difficulties and all. Thank you guys for listening. Of course, once this finally hits iTunes, we need reviews. That's going to help us get in front of and more people. Share this with your friends. Give us ideas for stuff you want to hear. This is it. This is the show. We're just getting together and we're talking. We might crack a brew periodically.
Yeah.
Like this is just a hangout time.
I think WandaVision is going to be a big episode this week, so we'll probably have to discuss that maybe here.
I'm gonna have to get caught up then.
Yeah, get caught up, and I want to do spoiler episodes, right? Yeah. Like we could do Mando season 2 spoiler. And just talk about everything, and we'll tag it accordingly.
That's good, because I want to sit down and rewatch it too. So.
I went and watched it with my dad, and it was awesome to watch it the second time. I picked up so much more stuff.
We got Bad Batch coming on Star Wars Day. We got Loki coming here pretty soon. Yeah, I think Marvel is slated to just pick up continuously. Because Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier is right after WandaVision, and then Loki's right after that. they're just going to keep Marvel just rolling year round. It's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, love it. I love it. All right. There we go. I'm going to end the stream to end the podcast. So, Twitch, we love you guys. We'll see you guys in episode 2. Bye now.